The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Thousands of alien representatives from across the Milky Way sat in tiered seats, their eyes fixed on the central podium. High Counselor Zixnera, a tall, blue-skinned being with 4 arms, called the emergency session to order. "Esteemed colleagues," Zixnera's voice boomed, "we face a grave threat. The species known as humans have advanced far too quickly." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. On the massive screen behind Zixnera, images of Earth flashed by. Cities reaching to the sky, fusion reactors powering whole continents, and the first colonies on Mars and the Moon. In mere centuries, Zixnera continued, they've gone from primitive tools to the brink of faster-than-light travel. Their aggression and ambition know no bounds. Ambassador Krell, a reptilian creature, hissed in agreement. "We've seen this before. Young races expanding too fast always bring chaos and war." And Elder Kulari, with skin like wrinkled bark, raised a gnarled hand. "But surely we can guide them. Teach them the ways of galactic peace." Zixnera shook her head. "We've watched them for decades. Their nations still war among themselves. Imagine the damage they could do to the galaxy." The council erupted in debate. Some argued for patience, others for immediate action. As the arguments grew heated, a small gray alien with large black eyes stood up. This was Mika, known for his ruthless strategic mind. "Colleagues, please," Mika's soft voice somehow cut through the noise. "We have only one option. Containment." The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Mika tapped a device, and a new image appeared on the screen. It showed Earth, surrounded by a shimmering energy field. "We can create a barrier," Mika explained, "cut them off from the rest of the galaxy. But for it to work," he paused, his large eyes scanning the room, "we must reduce their population and technological capabilities significantly." The silence that followed was deafening. Zixnera broke it with a whisper. "You mean?" Mika nodded. "A preemptive strike, quick and devastating. It's the only way to ensure galactic stability." Outrage and support clashed in the hall. Many council members recoiled at the idea of such slaughter. Others nodded grimly, seeing it as a necessary evil. As the debate raged, a small group of powerful council members met in a side chamber. They spoke in hushed tones, weighing the fate of billions. Hours passed. Finally, Zixnera called for a vote. The result was close, but the decision was made. Operation Earthfall would commence within a galactic standard week. As the council adjourned, not everyone was satisfied. Ambassador Leary, from a race of empaths, approached Zixnera with tears in her eyes. "This is wrong," she pleaded. "We're supposed to protect life, not destroy it." Zixnera placed a hand on Leary's shoulder. "Sometimes, to save many, we must sacrifice a few. History will judge us, but the galaxy will be safe." As news of the decision spread, the mighty fleets of the Galactic Council began to mobilize. Dreadnoughts, planet crackers, and swarms of fighter craft assembled near the edges of Earth's solar system. They moved with cold efficiency, preparing to unleash devastation on an unprecedented scale. On Earth, oblivious to the coming storm, humanity continued its march of progress. Scientists celebrated breakthroughs, children dreamed of the stars, and everyday life went on. In their homes, offices, and streets, billions of souls had no idea that distant aliens had just sentenced them to death. As the Earth rotated peacefully in the void, the first wave of the Galactic Council's forces entered the solar system. The clockwork of the cosmos ticked forward, counting down the moments until humanity's greatest trial would begin. Little did the Galactic Council know, their actions would not break humanity, but awaken a fury that would shake the very foundations of their power. The coming conflict would rewrite the history of the galaxy and prove that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. The attack came without warning. On a quiet Tuesday morning, the skies above Earth's major cities suddenly darkened. Massive alien ships, each the size of a small moon, appeared in low orbit. For a brief moment, the world stood still in awe and terror. Then, hell rained down from above. Beams of searing energy lanced from the alien vessels, vaporizing skyscrapers and turning bustling streets into rivers of molten asphalt. Smaller craft swarmed like angry hornets, firing precision strikes at military bases, power plants, and communication hubs. In New York, the Statue of Liberty melted into a puddle of copper and iron. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco snapped like a twig under the onslaught. The pyramids of Giza, which had stood for millennia, were reduced to glass and sand in seconds. Panic erupted globally. Millions fled their homes, clogging highways and backroads alike. But there was nowhere to run. The attack was everywhere, coordinated with ruthless efficiency. In Washington, D.C., President Sarah Chen huddled with her advisors in a secure bunker deep beneath the White House. The room shook with each nearby impact. "What are we dealing with?" Chen demanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. General Rodriguez, his uniform covered in dust, shook his head. "Unknown hostiles, Ma'am. They've taken out most of our satellite network and major military installations. We're blind and outgunned. Options limited," the Secretary of Defense admitted. "Our most advanced weapons barely scratched their shields. It's like throwing rocks at a tank." President Chen closed her eyes for a moment, the weight of billions of lives pressing down on her shoulders. When she opened them, there was steel in her gaze. "We may be outgunned, but humanity doesn't go down without a fight. Initiate the Lazarus Protocol." Across what remained of the globe, similar scenes played out. In Beijing, Premier Lai ordered the activation of China's secret mountain fortresses. In Moscow, President Volkov unleashed a barrage of experimental electromagnetic pulse weapons, managing to disable a few smaller alien craft. But these were mere pinpricks against the overwhelming force of the invasion. As the first day of the attack wore on, the true scale of the devastation became clear. Major cities on every continent lay in ruins. Smaller towns and rural areas fared no better, targeted by precise strikes that seemed designed to cripple infrastructure and disrupt any possibility of organized resistance. The death toll climbed into the hundreds of millions. Hospitals were overwhelmed, then destroyed. Emergency services, valiant in their efforts, were simply outmatched by the scope of the disaster. Yet, amidst the carnage, sparks of human resilience flickered to life. In the suburbs of London, a group of teenagers used their gaming computers to establish a makeshift communication network, coordinating rescue efforts for their neighborhood. In Rio de Janeiro, off-duty firefighters formed human chains to pull survivors from collapsed buildings, even as alien ships continued their bombardment overhead. Deep in the Australian outback, Aboriginal elders led their people to ancient cave systems, hidden from the eyes in the sky. In the mountains of Afghanistan, hardened fighters who had resisted empires for generations now turned their skills against an enemy from the stars. As night fell on the first day of the attack, much of Earth lay in ruins. Smoke from 1,000 fires blotted out the stars. The alien ships hung in the sky like dark sentinels, their work far from finished. But in hidden bunkers, in the rubble of cities, and in the hearts of survivors everywhere, something dangerous was taking root. Shock gave way to anger. Fear transformed into determination. The human spirit, tested as never before, began to rally. In her underground command center, President Chen received reports from around the world. Each was worse than the last. Yet she stood tall, her resolve unbroken. "They may have the technology," she told her battered but unbowed staff. "But they've made one critical mistake. They've underestimated humanity's will to survive. And for that, they'll pay dearly." As the Earth completed its rotation, bringing a new dawn to the devastated planet, no one knew what the coming days would bring. But one thing was certain. Humanity's fight for survival had only just begun. 3 days after the devastating alien attack, the remnants of Earth's leadership gathered in a secret underground facility deep beneath the Swiss Alps. The room was filled with tension as surviving world leaders, military commanders, and scientific experts took their seats around a large circular table. President Sarah Chen of the United States, her face gaunt from lack of sleep, called the emergency meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, we face the greatest threat in human history. It's time we fight back. The room erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some argued for immediate retaliation, others for attempting communication with the aliens. A few even suggested surrender. Silence, roared General Alexander Volkov of Russia, slamming his fist on the table. While we argue, our people die. We need action, not words. Dr. Aisha Patel, a renowned physicist from India, stepped forward. Her lab coat was stained with soot, a reminder of her narrow escape from Mumbai. We've analyzed the alien technology from downed spacecraft, she said, her voice steady. Their weapons and shields are centuries beyond ours, but we found a weakness. A hush fell over the room as Dr. Patel explained her findings. The alien shields were vulnerable to a specific frequency of electromagnetic pulse. It wasn't much, but it was a start. As the leaders debated strategy, reports poured in from around the globe. The alien attack had slowed, but Earth's infrastructure lay in ruins. Billions were dead or missing. Yet, amidst the chaos, hope emerged. In the devastated streets of Tokyo, civilians organized themselves into efficient rescue teams, clearing rubble and saving lives with quiet determination. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes used their knowledge of the land to hide refugees and guerrilla fighters. Back in the command center, a plan began to take shape. We can't match them in open combat, said Admiral Helena Santos of Brazil, but we can bleed them. Guerrilla warfare on a global scale. The leaders nodded in agreement. It was a desperate plan, but it was all they had. As the meeting concluded, President Chen addressed the group one last time. Today, we are no longer Americans, Russians, Chinese, or Europeans. We are humans, united against extinction. Let's show these aliens what humanity is made of. The next 48 hours saw a flurry of activity across the planet. In hidden factories, workers rushed to modify existing weapons with Dr. Patel's EMP technology. Hackers worldwide joined forces, probing for weaknesses in the alien communication systems. In orbit, Major Yuki Tanaka led a daring mission aboard the International Space Station. Using the station's robotic arm, her team managed to capture a small alien drone. The data it contained would prove invaluable. On the ground, resistance movements sprang up everywhere. In the ruins of Paris, the ghosts of the Louvre struck at alien patrols before melting back into the catacombs. In the Australian outback, Aboriginal trackers led special forces teams to hidden alien outposts. Not all efforts were military in nature. In a basement in Toronto, a group of biochemists worked tirelessly to understand alien biology, hoping to find a medical edge. In the mountains of Chile, astronomers used surviving radio telescopes to track alien fleet movements. 7 days after the initial attack, humanity launched its first coordinated counteroffensive. It was small, a series of synchronized EMP strikes against alien ground forces, but its effect was electrifying. For the first time, the invaders showed vulnerability. The alien response was brutal. They intensified their bombardment, targeting suspected resistance strongholds. But with each passing day, their strikes became less accurate. Human hackers were making progress, sowing confusion in the alien targeting systems. In the Swiss command center, President Chen received the latest reports with grim satisfaction. The casualty numbers were staggering, the devastation heart-wrenching. But humanity was adapting, learning, and fighting back with everything it had. As she looked around the room at the determined faces of Earth's united leadership, Chen felt a spark of hope. The road ahead was long and bloody, but humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would rage against the dying of the light, and in that rage, they would find the strength to survive. The battle for Earth had truly begun. 2 weeks after the initial alien attack, The underground facility in the Swiss Alps buzzed with activity. What had started as a desperate gathering of survivors had transformed into the nerve center of humanity's resistance. In the main strategy room, holographic displays showed the current state of Earth. Red zones mark areas of heavy alien presence, while blue highlighted human strongholds. Green lines crisscrossed the globe, representing the new, secretive communication networks established by tech geniuses working around the clock. President Sarah Chen stood at the center, her eyes scanning the room. "It's time," she announced, her voice carrying a weight that silenced all chatter. "We need to formalize our unity. No more individual nations. From this day forward, we are one people with one purpose: survival." The proposal was met with murmurs of agreement. Even longtime rivals nodded in understanding. The alien threat had made old conflicts seem petty and insignificant. Over the next 72 hours, the leaders worked tirelessly to draft the charter for the United Earth Government, UEG. It wasn't easy. Centuries of distrust and competing interests didn't disappear overnight. But the constant rumble of alien ships overhead served as a stark reminder of the stakes. Dr. Aisha Patel, now heading the newly formed Global Science Initiative, interrupted the political discussions with urgent news. "We've made a breakthrough," she said, her eyes shining with excitement despite her exhaustion. "By reverse engineering components from the downed alien craft, we've developed a prototype for a new energy weapon." The room erupted in cheers, the first moment of true joy since the invasion began. But General Volkov raised a hand, his expression grim. "How soon can we mass-produce these weapons? Our people are dying out there every day." Dr. Patel's smile faded. "That's the challenge. We need resources and manufacturing capabilities that are currently under alien control." A tense silence fell over the room. Then, from the back, a voice spoke up. It was Major Yuki Tanaka, the space station hero, now leading Earth's fledgling space force. "What if we take the fight to them? A raid to secure a major manufacturing plant." The idea was audacious, perhaps even suicidal. But as the military leaders huddled around holographic maps, a plan began to take shape. It would require precise coordination between ground forces, the remnants of Earth's air forces, and Tanaka's small but growing fleet of space-capable fighters cobbled together from civilian spacecraft and salvage alien tech. While the military planned their daring raid, the political leaders finalized the UEG Charter. It established a streamlined governing structure, focused entirely on the war effort and human survival. All resources were to be pooled, all research shared. The age of nations was over. The age of human unity had begun. In a solemn ceremony broadcast via the Resistance's hidden networks, the leaders signed the charter. President Chen, chosen as the first Secretary General of the UAG, addressed the scattered remnants of humanity. "My fellow humans, today we stand united as never before. Our cities may lie in ruins, but our spirit remains unbroken. To the aliens who sought to destroy us, know this: you have awakened a fury unlike anything you've ever seen. We will fight you in the ruins of our cities, in the depths of our oceans, and in the darkness of space. We will never surrender. Earth is our home, and we will defend it to the last breath." As Chen's words echoed across hidden bunkers and makeshift camps, a new sense of purpose swept through the human resistance. In laboratories, scientists and engineers worked feverishly to adapt alien technology. In hidden training grounds, soldiers drilled with a mix of traditional weapons and newly developed energy rifles. The raid on the alien-held manufacturing plant was scheduled for the next day. It would be humanity's first major offensive operation, a test of the newly forged United Earth Government's ability to coordinate on a global scale. As night fell, tension mixed with determination. Tomorrow would either mark the beginning of humanity's comeback or the final nail in its coffin. In bedrooms and bunkers across the world, people whispered prayers, clutched loved ones, and steeled themselves for the battle to come. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, but for the first time since the invasion, humanity faced the future with a united front and a fighting chance. 3 months had passed since the formation of the United Earth Government, UEG. The daring raid on the alien manufacturing plant had been a costly success, providing humanity with crucial resources and technology. Now, in hidden labs across the globe, human scientists worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of their invaders. Dr. Aisha Patel stood in the center of the main research facility, deep beneath the ruins of Geneva. Holographic displays surrounded her, each showing a different aspect of alien technology. Her team of scientists, a mix of physicists, engineers, and biologists from every corner of the world, huddled around their workstations. "We've done it," Dr. Patel announced, her voice barely above a whisper. The room fell silent. "We've cracked their FTL drive." The implications were staggering. Faster than light travel had been a dream of humanity for centuries. Now it was within their grasp. Meanwhile, in a reinforced bunker in the Rockies, another breakthrough was unfolding. Dr. Marcus Wong, a quiet AI researcher from Singapore, had managed to integrate alien computing technology with Earth's most advanced AI systems. The result was a quantum leap in processing power and problem-solving capabilities. "It's not just faster," Dr. Wong explained to the UEG Council via secure holographic link. "It thinks differently. It sees patterns and solutions we'd never imagine." The AI, dubbed Prometheus, quickly proved its worth. Within days, it had optimized production methods for the new energy weapons, increasing output tenfold. It also began work on enhancing human soldiers, designing cybernetic implants that could level the playing field against the physically superior alien troops. As Prometheus worked, another team made a discovery that would change the course of the war. In a lab built into an abandoned mine in South Africa, Dr. Zolambiki held up a vial of shimmering liquid. "We've synthesized their shield technology," she announced. "We can now protect our ships and soldiers just like they do." The news spread like wildfire through the resistance. For the first time since the invasion, hope began to outweigh fear. In orbit, Major Yuki Tanaka oversaw the construction of humanity's first true warship. Built in sections on Earth and assembled in space, the UES Defiant incorporated all the new technologies: FTL drive, energy weapons, and shield generators salvaged and reverse-engineered from alien craft. "She's not pretty," Tanaka said as she floated in Zero, watching the final pieces come together. "But she's ours. And she's got teeth." Back on Earth, the first batch of enhanced soldiers graduated from their training program. Led by Colonel Darius Jackson, these men and women were faster, stronger, and more resilient than any humans in history. Cybernetic implants allowed them to interface directly with their advanced weaponry, while genetic modifications improved their reaction times and healing abilities. "You are the tip of the spear," Jackson told his troops. "The aliens thought they could break us. You will show them how wrong they were." As humanity's technology advanced by leaps and bounds, the alien invaders began to take notice. Their attacks, once overwhelming, were now met with fierce resistance. Human fighters, equipped with reverse-engineered shields and weapons, could now go toe-to-toe with alien craft. In the Swiss Command Center, Secretary General Chen received reports of the latest skirmishes. For the first time, the map showed more blue than red. Humanity was pushing back. "It's time," Chen said to her advisors. "We're ready to take the fight to them." The plan was audacious. Using the newly developed FTL drive, a small fleet led by the Defiant would launch a surprise attack on the alien fleet's main staging area in the outer solar system. It was a huge risk, but if successful, it could turn the tide of the war. As preparations for the assault kicked into high gear, a sense of nervous excitement spread through the resistance. After months of desperate defense, humanity was about to go on the offensive. In labs, factories, and training grounds, humans worked with renewed vigor. The cybernetically enhanced soldiers ran final drills. Engineers made last-minute adjustments to the FTL drives. And in every hidden bunker and secret base, people held their breath, hoping that this gamble would pay off. The future of Earth hung in the balance. But thanks to their incredible technological leap, humanity now had a fighting chance. The next phase of the war was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The UEA's Defiant hung in the inky blackness of space, just beyond the orbit of Neptune. Around it, a small fleet of Earth's newly built warships waited in formation. On the bridge, Major Yuki Tanaka took a deep breath, her hands steady on the controls. "All ships report ready, Major," her second-in-command announced. Tanaka nodded. "Send the signal. Operation Thunderbolt is go." Across the fleet, FTL drives hummed to life. In a flash of blue light, the ships vanished, leaving only empty space behind. Moments later, they reappeared in the midst of the alien armada's staging area near Saturn. The element of surprise was total. Before the alien ships could react, the human fleet opened fire with their reverse-engineered energy weapons. "Target their command ships," Tanaka ordered. The Defiant's main cannon fired, a lance of purple energy that cut through an alien dreadnought like a hot knife through butter. On Earth, in the underground command center, Secretary General Chen and her staff watched the battle unfold via holographic display. The room was tense, every person aware that the fate of humanity rested on this assault. As the space battle raged, another phase of the operation began. Colonel Darius Jackson led his team of enhanced soldiers in a daring raid on the aliens' main ground base on Earth's moon. Their mission: to capture the alien leader and access their central computer core. Jackson's team moved with superhuman speed and precision, their cybernetic implants allowing them to react faster than any normal human. They cut through the alien defenses like a scythe through wheat. "We're in," Jackson reported, his voice calm despite the chaos around him. Moving to secure the target. Back in space, the tide of battle began to turn. The initial surprise of the human attack had worn off, and the sheer numbers of the alien fleet were starting to tell. Several Earth ships had been destroyed, and the Defiant's shields were weakening under constant bombardment. "We can't hold out much longer," Tanaka's tactical officer warned. Tanaka gritted her teeth. "We hold until Jackson completes his mission." "That's an order." On the moon, Jackson's team fought their way to the alien command center. The enhanced soldiers moved like blurs, their advanced weapons cutting down alien defenders with ruthless efficiency. In the final chamber, they found their target, the alien commander, a tall, spindly creature with multiple eyes and tentacle-like appendages. It spoke, its words translated by the soldiers' implants. "You primitive creatures," it hissed. "You cannot hope to defeat the might of the Galactic Council." Jackson stepped forward, his cybernetic eye glowing. "Watch us," he said, before knocking the alien unconscious with a single, precisely calculated blow. As his team secured the alien leader and began downloading data from the central computer, Jackson sent the signal back to Earth. "Package secured. We have what we need." In the command center, Chen's face broke into a fierce grin. "Send the order to Tanaka. Begin Phase 3. In space, Tanaka received the message she'd been waiting for. "All ships, execute Jump Plan Omega." The human fleet suddenly disengaged, jumping to FTL in a coordinated pattern. The alien ships, caught off guard by the sudden retreat, fell into disarray. Moments later, the Earth ships reappeared, but not in retreat. They had repositioned to surround the alien fleet, catching them in a deadly crossfire. "All ships, fire at will," Tanaka ordered. The space around Saturn lit up with energy weapons fire. Alien ships, caught out of position and confused by the humans' unconventional tactics, fell one by one. As the battle reached its climax, Chen addressed the people of Earth via a global broadcast. "My fellow humans, today we strike back. Today we show the galaxy that Earth will not fall. We will not go quietly into the night. We fight, we survive, and we will win." Across the planet, humans emerged from their shelters to watch the sky. For the first time in months, the ever-present alien ships were gone, replaced by streaks of light as debris from the space battle burned up in the atmosphere. The counteroffensive had begun. Humanity had landed its first major blow against the invaders. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion, the people of Earth dared to believe that victory might be possible. In the depths of space, Major Tanaka allowed herself a small smile as she surveyed the remnants of the alien fleet. "Take that back to your Galactic Council," she muttered. "The humans are coming." The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted nervously in their seats. At the center of the room, bound but defiant, stood Secretary General Sarah Chen of Earth. "You stand accused of crimes against the galactic peace," High Counselor Zixnera announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. "How do you plead?" Chen's eyes flashed with barely contained fury. "We plead survival," she said, her voice steady. "You attacked us without provocation, slaughtered millions. We did what we had to do." The past year had seen a remarkable turnaround in the war. After the successful counteroffensive, humanity had pushed outward, taking the fight to the alien worlds. The enhanced soldiers, advanced AI, and reverse-engineered technology had proven a devastating combination. Now, with the tables turned, the Galactic Council had sued for peace. But humanity wanted more than just an end to hostilities. They wanted justice. As Chen spoke, holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing scenes from the war. The initial devastating attack on Earth, the Resistance's desperate struggle, and finally, humanity's relentless march across the stars. "You thought us weak," Chen continued. "You thought you could exterminate us like pests. Instead, you awakened a fury that swept across your precious Galactic Council like wildfire." Murmurs rippled through the assembled aliens. Many looked away, unable to meet the humans' gaze. In orbit above the Council homeworld, the UES Defiant and its battle group stood ready. Major Yuki Tanaka, now Admiral, watched the proceedings from the bridge. Her finger hovered near the weapon controls, ready to unleash hell if the Council tried any tricks. Back on Earth, Colonel Darius Jackson led the cleanup efforts. His enhanced soldiers worked tirelessly, clearing rubble and rebuilding cities. The scars of war were still fresh, but signs of recovery were everywhere. In Geneva, Dr. Aisha Patel and her team pored over the vast database of alien scientific knowledge they'd captured. "We've leapfrogged centuries of development," she marveled. "The potential for advancement is staggering." As the Council deliberated, Shen made humanity's demands clear: reparations for Earth, full access to galactic technology and resources, and a seat on the Council itself. "You feared our potential," Chen said. "Now you will help us realize it. Together, we will build a better galaxy, one where no species lives in fear of annihilation." The vote was unanimous. Whether out of fear, respect, or a genuine desire for peace, the Galactic Council accepted Earth's terms. As news of the agreement spread, celebrations erupted across human-controlled space. On Earth, people poured into the streets, looking up at the sky not in fear, but in wonder at the vast universe that now lay open before them. Yet amidst the joy, there was also reflection. The war had cost humanity dearly. Billions had died. Great cities lay in ruins. The innocence of a species that once thought itself alone in the universe was forever lost. In a quiet moment after the council session, Chen stood alone on a balcony, looking out at the alien world that would now be humanity's second home. Admiral Tanaka joined her, the two women standing in silence for a long moment. "Was it worth it?" Tanaka finally asked. Chen sighed. "Ask me in 100 years. Maybe then we'll know." As they spoke, the first wave of human settlers was already preparing to spread out among the stars. Scientists, explorers, and families ready to build a new future. The Galactic Council had sought to contain humanity, to snuff out what they saw as a potential threat. Instead, they had catalyzed humanity's ascension to the stars. As Chen and Tanaka watched the alien sunset, they knew that this was not an ending, but a beginning. Humanity had survived its trial by fire. Now, tempered by adversity and armed with determination, they were ready to take their place in the galactic community. The universe would never be the same, and humanity, for all its scars, looked to the future with hope, wonder, and the unshakable resolve that had seen them through their darkest hour. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity had just begun.